Whoops. I don't want to obscure my lovely cat sitting here with me. But this morning, and quite a few mornings, we hear James say, "Well, reckon what will happen today." What will happen today? He says that quite often. So, anyway, I looked up a scripture and it says, "Morning by morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. Morning by morning, I lay my request before you and wait in expectation." And we do. I remember when we was waiting for uh, that, we asked for a 45-foot fifth wheel. Would he give it to the ministry a few years ago? About 1983. I remember those years. But anyway, we wait in expectation because that means we have trust in the Lord that He's going to work it out one way or the other, and that we always pray His will be done. And we figure He's on our side because He said, you know, if you're for me, who could be against you? So Jesus is on our side. And He will work things out most unexpectedly sometimes, which amazes you. And it does me. But there's Big Tom, look-alike. And he is a look-alike because he has white paws and a white face. And I tell you what, we're so tickled to have him back. And he is tickled to be back. And I have ordered stuff for him to be, and I don't know when I'm going to get another. To get him in a cage, you need a great big cage, and we don't have one. We've got to locate one if we get another chip put in. So we're not going to worry about that. It will work out. I'm getting a collar to go on him and a little thing that you can hang on it that has his name, address, and our phone number on it. And if he gets, fact is, I may put 2 on him. But I'm going to make a confession. He wanted out so bad this morning. So James went back to bed to take him a nap. And he was just pleading with me to let him out a minute because he's used to going out and coming back in. I said, okay, don't run off. Please don't run off, but stick around. There'll be food waiting on you. Get my coffee. I got coffee waiting on me, and I'm treating my feet. And we have been to Harvest Homecoming, and I got to show you what all I got. Stick around. Gorgeous. So, me, Mama, I opened the door. I said, all right now, you're promising to come back. And I let him out. That was why James was, because today we wanted to be down at St. Mark's Presbyterian Church. I think it is Christian church. I can't remember it. They love Jesus. That's the main thing. So they opened at 9. So he went back to bed, James did. And so while James was sleeping, I let Big Tom out. We call him Big Boy also. He answers to both. I guess the big part, I don't know, because he is a big cat. So there he went. Now, I didn't let any of the others out. Sometimes I let one of the little girls out because she stays with Big Tom when he's out. But I just let him out. I said, I'm not going to get my blood pressure up about it. I'm going to trust the Lord that this cat will be back. So I went on about my business, looking at my YouTube numbers. All of us YouTube people, especially us girls, women, we're girls. Y'all are all girls to me, Kentucky Life with Debbie, got a wonderful YouTube channel. Senioritis, she's young compared to me. Nana Grace and Simply Debbie Sue, they all got YouTube channels. And of course, Billie Jean, just me, Billie Jean, they're all younger than I am. So, okay, kids, I'm going to show everybody. I just quoted those names so y'all can look them up and watch them. But I got y'all beat. I'm 92 and having fun. And my mom that made me recall how my mom used to say, she was 20 or 21 years older than me. And as she got older, we got more like sisters than mother and daughter. And if we went out somewhere, she'd say, don't you tell anybody how old I am. And I thought, Mom looked great. I thought, well, I'd be happy to look as good as you do when I get that old. And as old as you are. That was when she got 80. She didn't want anybody to know she was 80. She wanted them to think she was 60. And she looked about 60, 65 when she was 80. even when she passed away, she was still a very attractive woman. And she had health problems with her lungs. And so she had bad health problems. And on the last, I cooked for her every day. And on the very last, her second husband passed away. My stepdaddy passed away. And so mom would come live with me a week and then with my sister a week. And we didn't sell the house. And she still spent some time out there. So anyway, when she was 85, she did that. And we took week about, me and my sister. And she would say to me, I was getting a little hard of hearing. And also, Floyd had to wear a hearing aid. And we kept the TV pretty loud. And her hearing was so good. And she'd say, do you have to keep the TV that loud? And I thought, well, she could put tissue in her ears. That's what I do when James watches those Western movies. I take my hearing aid off and I take a little Kleenex and put it in my good ear. And I don't listen to his. I read, or else I just run my sound. I got one of those little things you can, in a little white case, you can just listen with the one ear and hear your iPad. And I could do it through my uh, hearing aids, but it seemed like I can't learn how to do it. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. So anyhow, Mom and I would go running around, and she would want, and I would say, and this is my mom, and she's 83. And then she would just enjoyed when they would say, she's 83. So I decided when I got older, I'd tell everybody, I'm 92. So I do that. Now I want to show y'all what we went to the Harvest Homecoming. Now that's a big deal in New Albany, Indiana. It's been going on over 50 years. And every year we go, and I've been many years. So we went down this morning to St. Mark's Flea Market. Honey, it was so. Did you see that short I made on that? I'm telling you, they have everything and anything, and they had a bunch of jewelry. They had see these clip earrings, $3, and they match this outfit. And I'm in my fall mood today with my cat. Big Tom can't come over here anymore. I leave him with his friends over at James's house, and I'm here at my house. So I'm going to show you. Now these, I'm going to have a little sip of coffee before I show this stuff I got. I had been desiring, the Lord says in his word, I will meet the desires of your heart. And he does a lot of times. And I've been thinking, where can I get some really pretty old, I like the clip-ons, really. They're so easy and you just slip on and off. I can wear those other kind, but I think I'm stuck on clip. So, all right, here we go. $3 a pair. Now, here's these. Look how fall they look. Aren't they pretty? I just love them. The other day I was going through some of my boxes and I found a wedding ring that I used to wear, and these are getting so loose that James got me that this helps keep them on. So that's the first pair. And they're just lovely, and they're clip-ons. Now here's the second pair. Well, let me find them. I pitched them over there. Well, let me see. These got pearls in them. See that? 2 of them, of course. And $3 a pair. Can't beat that with a stick. And then these, gold. Gold goes with everything, don't you think? Yes. I still like to dress pretty. People, some man came into McDonald's this morning when we went to have breakfast at McDonald's, and he said, "You look so nice this morning." I said, "I'm on YouTube, and I got a lot of people, and I try to look nice for them." So these are unusual. Look at these. Hey, Granny Pat, you got anything like that? She's got a collection. She used to make, chit chat with Granny Pat. She used to make jewelry, her own, and she's got oodles of it. And sometimes she shows it, and I've seen them, but I never saw her have one like this one. She wears some pretty earring, pretty purity. That's the way my mother-in-law. She was from Appalachia, and she said purity or purdy, and I must have picked it up from her. These are nice. Okay, Let's see, I got one more pair. And I showed James this morning when we was driving home. When we was stopped at a red light. Now this looks like a big pair of rubies, don't it? Did I hit the jackpot today? I think I have another pair. I got $21 worth, ever how many that is. Now these are really glitzy, and I like sparkle. I like the sparkle. Here, let me show you these. They're in a little bag, and these are like this. Look how they are gonna, well, shucks. See that? Oh, I may wear a different pair every day. I think I have one more. Yes, I do. It's in a little sack too. Are y'all hanging with me? Let me see what this looks like. Oh, this is a necklace. It was in with the, well, this is different. It's a, I bought something, I didn't know what it was. Well, it's a necklace. Huh. And what is this? Surprise, surprise. It says something, and I can't read it. Hands. No, if I figure it out, I'll let you know. I can't read it. Hands serve. That's what it says. Hands serve. And our hands do serve, don't they? I don't know if I'll ever wear this one or not. Probably not. But it's a nice chain. And you just hang it on your neck. Okay. Oh, I've got another pair here that I just want to show you that I was wearing this morning. When we go down to the Methodist thrift store, there's a little woman that comes down there just like me, except she's smaller than me. And she comes every Saturday morning or Friday morning. We usually Friday, and I see her down there. And one day she came in and she says, "You know how you like pearls." She said, "I bought these for you." And I was wearing these this morning till I switched to these. And they're pearls like this. Mary got me, her name is Mary, and she got me two pairs, and both of them, they are so pretty, and I like to wear them a lot. Because I was wearing pearls this morning, and I took it off. Okay, that's it. One more thing I want to show you. And it was a necklace. Now, this time I knew it was a necklace. And it was in a box. And it said Bacon's, which there is a way to make you read that, but just trust me. It was in a box like this. And so I picked it up, and I said, "Well, it's got pearls. See all the pearls?" So I picked it up, and then I started looking at it. Well, let me show you what it looks like. I mean, it is gaudy. Sometimes I like gaudy. Okay, let's see. It really is a necklace if I ever get it figured out. I had it figured out once. So I know it works if I can get it here. Because I mean, it has got, here's the others. See, here's the, let's see. I never saw a necklace like this before in my life. I mean, it is intricate. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Here it is. See that little thing right here? I think it's a jump rope. No, I won't be jumping it. Well, I wonder if I could ever get it right. Maybe. I don't know. Go down this way, maybe. Somebody come help me. Let's figure this out. Well, before I wear it. Now, look at that. And it's going to be easy to hook. So that's not going to be a problem because it's got a hook. Oh, here it's got a hook like this. See this? And you can just hook it over that. and I'm in business, and it's like a collar. I think this really gonna be pretty. Now this was $6. I went whole hog. Sometimes you just have to go whole hog, but it came from Bacon's. Now Bacon's is not in business anymore, so you know this is vintage. Bacon's was the store where my brother Norman's wife, that's the only place she shopped. Now they have Dillard's. I don't go to Dillard's. I can't afford. I'm just too cheap. Of course, if Dillard's has a sale and if Bacon's had a sale, you could really find some good deals sometime of real expensive stuff. So that's where Benita always went, to Bacon's. And she was so, that woman is the sweetest woman and the neatest woman besides my other sister-in-law, my brother Dennis's wife. She is so has fantastic taste. And her house looks like, sometimes I wonder, can you really live in it? It's so neat and so beautiful. It looks like it's a model home. I tell you what, Patricia, you're the best. She's the best. And Benita's just, Benita is the same way. They're just real neat. I'm not real neat. I just never was. But I used to, when I had more money, I used to hire somebody to come in and straighten everything up. And here lately, I can't hardly find anybody. So it's up to me and James. And I am teaching him how to vacuum because I really can't vacuum anymore hardly. Ooh, something went crazy. Oh, my phone does that every so often. I did not turn it off. I try to remember to turn it off so nobody will call me, but I don't know. Here, I'm going to try to find it. Oh, where was I? Right here. And James's phone is out of whack. I got him a 14, and I got a 14 Pro, a little bit bigger, and his Sierra's not working. So I called uh, T-Mobile. That's who we're with, and I got somebody from India or the Philippines, and I tried to understand exactly what he was saying, and I could not. So I said, that'll be all right. I'll just take it to T-Mobile. And I think he was as glad to get rid of me as I was ready to not listen to him anymore because I don't understand them very well. I mean, and they hire people overseas to work because they work cheap. I wonder if Trump could bring that back to America and we could have English, real, truly English speaking people. Would that be too hard, President Trump? Maybe he'll see my video and he'll take care of that. Dream on. Well, dreaming is what we do, don't we? And what does anybody as old as I am dream about? Well, for one thing, I was dreaming about my cat coming home, and I would come home every day and look for him, and he wasn't there. I did that for about a month. But the day that we found him, that we finally tracked him down, I had bought another big box, 24, 30 of little cat food he likes. And that's called in faith believing that you're going to need it because things come to pass that you think of that you cannot really see with your real eyes. And that's trusting and believing. And I had not quit completely believing that Big Tom would come home. You know, I just expected it every day. He's going to be there. He's going to be there. Fact is, last night when we was going home, I said, James, I'm so in the habit of looking to see if Big Tom is home that the first thing I do is look at the backyard, see if the cat's there. Force a habit. You know, you can get in a habit. They say to change a habit, it really takes about 30 days. Well, I guess I'll just have to get over the habit of looking for him every day. But my stuff that I had ordered to, cat collars or cat thing to go on his neck, they're delayed from Amazon. They said I can cancel it, get my money back, but they will be here. So, or reorder and all that kind of stuff. But this morning, I let him out, as I told you earlier, while James was napping. And so James got up, we got dressed, we was going out to have breakfast at McDonald's, which, pancakes and that big breakfast, and we just share it because I can only eat one pancake and half of everything. and James can have the rest. And so, anyhow, as James got up and got out of bed and we was ready to go, he opened the door, and guess what? Big Tom was waiting. He just came right on in. So he's at the house today. He's safe. If you watch it all the way through, you know Big Tom is safe. And I thought, I'm so glad, because that way I won't be thinking all day long, is that cat taking another walk? And get my blood pressure up again, concerned about that cat. You know, these little things in life that we have, like our kitty cats and our dogs, and we love our dogs and cats and our pets. I knew a girl that carried a salamander or something, some kind of lizard, around on her shoulder every place she went. And it just hung with her. It She was his mommy, and she put it to bed at night and fed special food. And I don't know if it's still alive or not. She moved away, so I don't know. But I bet she still got them, because I think they live for you. I think she had 3 of them, but she had one she'd haul around on her shoulder all the time. Now I saw her sister at down there at that sale, down at that flea market thing at that church, but I didn't even think about that lizard. That's or whatever it was. Some kind of, no, no. I don't want nothing like that for a pet. I sure don't. Because at least a cat, I put a short on one time. It's on TikTok, and you can look it up. But James's kitty cat that likes him jumped up, the 2 new ones we got, the sisters that I can't hardly tell them apart. She jumped up in my lap and and just got over and started kissing me right on the cheek. And I happened to have my phone on camera, and I recorded that cat kissing me on the cheek. They are very affectionate. So, and some people are kind of scared of them, because they got scared when they was a kid. Like um, Kentucky Life with Debbie told the story of how one jumped on her and scared her so bad when she was a little girl or younger, and therefore she was always afraid of cats. And there are some mean cats out there, because my daughter had one that when we came up in New Jersey, she had one that she had to lock up when we came in, because it would attack you. And we knew it. She won't attack her family, but she was like a guard cat. So they just lock her up when they knew we was coming. But none of my cats are like that. They're all different. They all have personalities. I would never keep a cat like that. I just wouldn't. I would. Maybe they would have the right home, but Kathy kept it till it passed away, because it loved them, but it didn't love anybody coming in the house. So sometimes you have to watch out for cats if they take a dislike to you. I've never had one take a dislike to me. I knew about that one, so whenever we'd visit Kathy, she'd just lock it up somewhere. Well, I've had a good time this morning, and here it is. Now, tonight, James is going back down. And I tell you what, thousands of people will be walking up and down at Harvest Homecoming. They have um, pork chops cooked on the grill, big old pork chops. And I usually try to get me one every year, but they don't start cooking them till 11 o'clock. But I don't want to go down there anymore, so maybe James will get me one. I don't know. I can hope. I can live in expectation, and he can just bring it home and let me eat it. But Miss Megan, his girl that he raised, and she's coming to go down to Harvest Homecoming with him this evening about 6 o'clock. So they can go together, and I will stay home, and maybe he'll bring me a pork chop then, because man, they sell oodles of them. I like them if they got fat on them. And then I got sweet baby Ray's here to put on it. So in expectation, right? I'm looking forward. And if it don't happen, I'll just buy me a big old pork chop and put it on my, when I was pregnant with the twins, I was out in California, and Buddy was overseas. Number one husband was on board ship and wasn't home. When he left, I was about 6 weeks pregnant, didn't know I was pregnant. Was surprised to find out, because, I had never got pregnant. And we'd been married. I was probably almost 20. I was 19 years old, and we'd been married 3 years, and never took any precautions or anything. And so before but what happened was he had been aboard ship, and he came home where he had been gone for quite a long time. So when he came home, I was having my period. He said, "We're going to hanky pank." So I cleaned up and we hanky panked. And he had to leave again real soon. And I found out, and this is something most people do not know, that one out of 300,000 people only ovulate or are able to get pregnant when they're menstruating. Isn't that something? And I'm one of them. So I got pregnant while I was menstruating. Had no idea because I would never have intimacy while I'm having my period. We don't do that. But it was a have to case. You know how we hadn't been married that long, year and a half, 2 years. So I was pregnant with twins. But I would, every week when I was pregnant with twins, he was gone and he stayed gone. And when he went overseas, they extended him for another 6 months. I went all through that pregnancy with twins by myself. He was gone. I sent him pictures and we corresponded. And he didn't get to come home till they were 6 months old. So when they came 2.5 months early, and the doctors told me that they were so small that they would be blind and mentally retarded. And I just prayed. They kept me in the hospital back then about a week. And so I just prayed constantly, and they wouldn't even let me touch them. I couldn't, they put them in these incubators with oxygen. And come to find out, too much oxygen destroys their eyes and they will be blind a lot of times. So I prayed, God, let my babies be all right. Let them be healthy. And I heard this little voice and it wasn't me because I didn't think they was going to, I did not have trust and faith. But I heard this voice say, your babies are going to be fine. And I knew it was my Heavenly Father speaking to me. And I jumped out of the bed. I was so confident that that was God speaking to me. And so I ran down the hallway and I said, I got to send a telegram. And I've told this story more than once, but a lot of you have not heard it. And I told him at the nurse's station, is there some way I can send a telegram and send it right now? They said, yes, we can help you with that. So we did send a telegram to his ship. And it said, because I had by then named, because it was about the fourth day or something, the babies, Karen and Kathy, Karen Lou and Kathy Sue, mainly bald headed as busters. They didn't have much hair. But back then you bought bonnets and put on them, which I did later. So I sent the telegram and it said, Mother and baby's doing fine, Karen and Kathy. And he carried that, he was so thrilled that he was going to be a daddy, that he is a daddy. And when he came home, he still has that. And when he passed away, I don't know why, but he just kept it in there for what billfold he had. And Karen has still got that telegram. And she was the one that turned out to be a school teacher. Kathy dropped out of college. I sent them both to college. But you know what? I tell some people I kind of made a mistake sending them to college because they didn't marry men from around here. They went to college and married men from wherever, and one of them was a chaplain in the Air Force and he traveled every 3 years. They moved him. She was everywhere and they're retired now. And then Kathy married a Jewish young man that she met in Bible school because she had 2 or 3 engagements that did not work out. So she kept the rings because they quit her. I think she was too demanding or something. But the third guy said, this is fine with me. They just cashed them rings in and bought a really nice set. I thought that was fine. So anyhow, she married Richie Cohen, and he's a Jewish boy from New Jersey. So they settled in New Jersey. And so we would get up there when we went on the evangelistic field, we would get bookings up there so that we could be near where Kathy was with her 3 little kids. And sometimes she would join me and bring her babies, whichever many she had, because I had a big fifth wheel, and spend 3 or 4 days with me. And I had sleeping arrangements for them, and we just have a good time right out on the evangelistic field. And also Kim's two little kids, Kimberly Diane, had two little girls, and we used to take them with us. We took them to Napanee, Indiana one year. Now, Napanee is a Amish country, and there's horses everywhere. And out in the country, the church was way out in the country, and there was a pasture land right next door to us. And there was a mama horse there that had a little colt. And Melissa, the older girl, would go over there and pet that horse. It would come right to the fence. It was a buggy horse that they used to pull their buggies around with, the Amish people. And that was the church that I hooked my phone up to the church, which I always did. I was real techie even back then. And that was back in, I don't remember, 80 something. And I would hook my phone up, and then all the phones in the whole neighborhood went out. And the thing of it is, the Amish people, there was a little phone outside that the church provided for the Amish people in a little booth where they could come make their calls, because they weren't allowed to have a phone, but they still had to make calls sometimes. And I knocked a whole section out for whatever I did. And the telephone man came to work on it. He was knocking on my fifth wheel door. He said, "Did you mess with the telephone system?" He said, "I see you're hooked in here." Of course I was. I said, "Yeah, I hooked in. I always hook in. Every church I go to, I just hook in. I can call home, talk to my sister, talk to my mother, talk to my older girls." He said, "Well, you knocked this whole system out, but I can fix it." And he fixed it, and he left my phone hooked up. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't as techy as I thought I was. I had confidence. I've got confidence. God's going to see me through. No matter what the world may say, my God's going to make a way. And that's the way I lived, and I still do. My God's going to make a way. And so Megan's going to go down to the Harvest Homecoming. Y'all ought to look at that on YouTube. I mean, I can't get in those crowds like that anymore. It drives me crazy. And now we went this morning, and Jamie had to park a block away to just get into that church where where the flea market was. But we had fun in there, and I like all this jewelry I got. The other day, changing the subject a little bit, but not too much from jewelry. I was in the back room in my apartment here. I have another room, and I was going through my stuff, and let's see what I do with it. Anyhow, I found a box. I found a box in my little cabinet that I didn't even remember. I mean, it's been so many years ago. It was back when I was going to flea markets with after my mom passed away, I think. And anyway, I looked in it, and this is what it was. See, I have always loved pearls, all kinds. Now, part of these, and I bought these at flea markets. Now, this one is, let me see, some of them are real. This one is not. You can test to find out if they're pearls by rubbing them on your teeth. But I got this one. I said, I don't remember these. I just forgot all about them. But I really like this necklace here. See this? Now, this has got some real pearls in it. Some of the brown ones are brown pearls. They're out of shape and all. They're not real expensive to buy, but I got it at the yard sale for like $2. And I collected them. And I said, my goodness, girl. And you forgot about them? Yes, I did. And some of them are real. Now, these little ones here, they are real. And they're just real little. Now, to buy these new, they're not that expensive from Amazon, but they're a nice little choker. I can wear a different necklace every day, and I kind of like it. It's a choker. Looks cute. Okay, I think I'm done. So I'll talk to y'all later, whenever. And I don't know what to title this one, but we'll figure something out. Because I just ramble, and that's what I said yesterday. I could not, what I did? I've got these little table things I can move around. Oh, I want to tell you one more thing. I told you my kneecap moves around and it gives me trouble. Well, see this thing right here? That's my sock. I had to start wearing this again. But you know what? That puts my knee right back in shape and keeps it. and then it'll stay good for a long time. So I got this at Walmart for like $20, and they are good on your knee. If your kneecap is bothering you or knee is bothering you, get you one of these. And if you have varicose veins, just, I went through that problem with that varicose vein, and when I had pain, I couldn't hardly sleep, and the Lord healed it, and the Lord keeps healing me. Thank you, Jesus. So I love you. Walk that path where Jesus would be pleased with you. And don't you love this fall scene? To me, I just love fall. And then I found this in my scarves this morning, and I hadn't wore it in a long time. I got to go through my scarves. There's some I'm not going to ever wear, but it matches I am coordinated. Well, see, I used to paint, and I like things to coordinate, don't you? We all do. And I got so many interesting comments yesterday. I was just so pleased with some of them. I try to answer all of them, but some of them I just have to send you a heart. It means I read it, and I read them all. So I love you. Till next time. Later, alligator, after a while, crocodile. That's an old saying we used to say years ago.